Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Now, if you're trying to be able to get access to business credit card funding with no documentation, meaning that you're just trying to go off of stated income, then this video is going to help you. Now, the first credit card we're going to look at, and the easiest credit card I would tell you to start with, is the Capital One Spark Classic. All right. The reason is this credit card here, again, you can get with a 580 credit score. All right, a 580 credit score. Now, here's the thing about it. Some people don't like because it does report on both the personal side as well as the business side. Okay, so it does report on both sides. However, one of the things about it is that if you don't have a DUNS number, if you don't have net 30s, if you don't want to deal with paydex score and things of that nature, then this is the card you want to start out with. All right, so that's your first card. Now, one other thing I must add is that choosing the right financial institution to open up your business bank account with. All right, now here's the reason why. You can have a credit union like Navy Federal. You can have community banks, and that's fine. However, you guys should have at least one major bank. I don't care if it's Capital One. See, because Capital One reports Experian Business, Equifax, and is shared with Dun & Bradstreet and Small Business Financial Exchange. All right. Now, another thing is that with Citibank, Experian, Equifax, Small Business Financial Exchange, and information picked up with Dun & Bradstreet. And then you have Chase Bank. All right, so Chase Bank, Experian, Equifax, Small Business Financial Exchange, and it's picked up with Dun & Bradstreet. Of course, you have American Express. All right, you have Truist, those and PNC, they report to Small Business Financial Exchange. Now, with Truist as well as PNC, those banks are tier 3, in which we're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, with Capital One is a tier 1, 2, and 3 financial institution. And the reason that it's like that is because of this card. It's one of the easiest credit cards to get for your business. All right. Now, let's talk about Corpay. All right. So Corpay, with this here, they pull Experian, okay, FICO 8, but you only need a 600 credit score to get this, and you can get it with EIN. Now, this is a tier 4 institution, all right? So you have the tier 1s, which is your American Express, Bank of America, Chase, Capital One. Then you have your tier 2, which is usually your community and regions bank. Then your tier 3 is usually your credit unions, okay? And then your tier 4 is your alternative lenders, right? So those are your tiers in terms of when you're going to get funding. So with this here being on the low totem pole, Corpay, again, a 600 credit score, all right? Now, it doesn't take much to get this here card. Now, one of the things about it, it is a net 21, all right? Meaning that when you use the card, it's like a charge card, you have to pay it within the next 21 days, all right? So that's very important. Now, the next card we're going to be looking at is Citizens Bank, okay? So with Citizens Bank, they have 2 business credit cards. They have the Everyday Points credit card, and then they have the Business Platinum credit card. Now, I always tell you, I don't care about points. I'm not trying to get points. What I'm trying to do is save money, okay? And if I can actually get a credit card that's going to give me 0% interest on purchases as well as balance transfer, that's the type of credit card I want, right? Because I'm able to utilize that credit card without paying all the high interest. And this here one gives you 12 months. Now, they do have the business every day, but you can see here, it's only 6 months, right? So that's the reason I wouldn't go after this card. I would chase this here card over here, the 12 months. And you may want to see if they're able to give you a check to actually liquidate the card over into your checking account, right? Since it's 0%. Now, I know institutions that actually do that. Now, again, Citizens Bank, it is a Regions Bank, right? So this is a Tier 2 bank. Usually, Tier 2 banks, they don't carry as much scrutiny as a Tier 1 bank. So this is a very important financial institution to have access to. That being said, let's talk about Sam's Club. Now, with Sam's Club, they offer a business credit card. And yes, you can get this with an EIN only. All right. So with the Sam's Club card, the situation is they're going to pull your Experian. It's through Synchrony Bank. All right. However, you do have to have a business credit file if you're just trying to do an EIN. All right. You can get it under your social, but if you don't want to use your social, it is EIN. So you definitely have to be aware of that. Now, one of the key things I always tell people, instead of applying for this here business credit card online, go inside that institution and apply at the counter. Okay. It's much better. Now, just keep in mind, people at the counter, they may not know how to fill out the application. So one of the things you want to let them know, you do want this here as an EIN versus your social, okay? So that's very important. The next institution is PNC, okay? PNC Bank. That's right. They're very generous when it comes to, and very generous and very open when it comes to business credit funding, both with business credit cards as well as business lines of credit. Now, as you can see here, they offer 13 months on balance transfers. All right, so this is the type of card that you want. They do offer these other ones, but again, these cards are focusing on points. My thing is I want to be able to utilize the money without being charged any interest, okay? And yes, you can apply with this credit card with EIN. As a matter of fact, when you apply for this credit card, the interesting thing about it is that say that you need to liquidate the credit card, again, it's only going to affect the business side of things. It won't report on the personal side of things, all right? And because it is a regional bank, again, it's a Tier 2, all right? It's much easier to get access to business credit funding. That's the reason, like you hear about these people, they're saying they got 100,000, 200,000 in business credit funding. It's because they're going after regional and they're going after credit unions as well as your alternative lenders to get that funding. Once they get the maximum amount of funding from those, then they move to your major banks, your Tier 1 banks, okay? Now, I know somebody may be wondering about American Express. American Express, again, is a Tier 1 type of institution. So we want to try out Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 if we're trying to get the maximum amount of funding with no documentation and stated income. Now, one of the things about it, I must add, there's nothing wrong with if you have tax paperwork. One of the bigger things that, again, most people are lacking is actually being on payroll of their business. All right, and if you're having issues with that, click the link in the description. Schedule one-on-one consultation. Let us help you set you up with that, because especially if you're trying to get 100,000 plus, you're gonna need some real documentation. Now, again, going back to these regional and credit unions, again, they will work with you with stated income. Even the Tier 1 banks will work with you with stated income. However, with the Tier 1s, they may be a little more conservative. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, another institution that I'm excited about is Connective. Now, here's the interesting thing about Connective in terms of when you're trying to get business funding. Opening up, you would have to start with the innovation, all right? Now, with the Innovation Society is how you would join, all right? Now, here's what I would tell you guys. When it comes to credit union, I would truly try to garden the relation, all right? And for those of you who don't understand, what that means is that I would open up a personal account, a savings account, then I would open up the business account. And I would garden that relationship for anywhere between 60 to 90 days. Because again, you're trying to go after the maximum amount of funding. So since you're trying to go after the maximum amount of funding, you definitely want to be able to put yourself in a position to where they know that you want to be there at that institution, right? So that being said, looking at their business credit card, going back to their business credit card, excuse me, this is their business credit card, right? Now, again, you can see the interest rate here. So they don't offer the 0% interest rate, but that's okay. They will give you a lot of funding, all right? But again, one of the safer ways to do this is to make sure that you are actually guarding a relationship. Just like you're going on a date. First thing you want to go on a date, you want to impress the girl, right? You don't expect to, hey, get married to the girl on the first date. You want to try to impress her so you can get a second date, right? So that's basically how you have to start treating these banks, especially if you're trying to get funding from them with stated income and no proof of income. You have to show them that, hey, I'm a worthy person, all right? That being said, our next institution is Regions Bank. Now, they have a business credit card as well, all right? Now, here's the thing about it with Regions Bank. We know, or if you look at a previous video I put up, I was telling you that Regions Bank, they pull TransUnion, right? Now, here's the thing about it. It's not TransUnion FICO 8. It's not TransUnion FICO 8. They use TransUnion, I think it's called Civil or something like that, right? So it's comparative to Advantage 4. So they use different data points, right? They use different data points. So the reason is that I'm telling you this because it's much easier to get access to funding because they use different data points than a FICO 8. And again, it's comparative to Advantage 4 scoring. So in terms of when Advantage scoring, I always tell you, authorized users, final payments, subscription, utility bills. Those help build up your credit profile, especially when you're comparing it to Advantage score of FICO 9, right? So with their TransUnion, they're using Civil, and so that's TransUnion Civil is like a Advantage scoring system, all right? Now, again, this is a Tier 2 financial institution, so this is where I would start. Now, in terms of like these regional banks, one of the things you would have to have, if you not in that region, you're trying to get access to funding from them, you may have to get a registered agent to open up your business in that area, okay, as a foreign entity. Now, when they do that, then you're able to apply for their business credit cards and business loans, all right? Now, if you guys have any question about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the personal credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.